Hello everyone, welcome to Scrubworks. It's been a bucket list item of mine for a few years now to import my own car from Japan. If you're into Japanese cars, it's kind of one of those ultimate things that you can do. And finally this year I was able to do it. I have just finished the whole process of bringing the car into the country and getting it on the road, and back in the beginning when I started I thought it would be quite cool to film the whole process and stick it up on the internet in case anyone else was interested or wanted to know more about the process of importing a car. So I filmed it all. It turned out rather longer than I expected it would, so I've split it into 3 parts, and they should all be up on my channel. And hopefully you enjoy it. Hello everyone, this is the first video I'm making in the little series about importing my own car from Japan. It is the 10th of April 2018 today, and I've spent the past couple of days on the phone and emailing to a importing agency in this country, and I have just got off the phone with them and agreed to buy this rather nice, just show you here, Nissan 180SX, and it's pretty nice, I think. It is a 1997 model, although it was registered in January, so it's likely a 1996 build. It's a kooky model, of course. It's got the proper kooky body kit on it. It's got, kooky spoiler, kooky lights, stock kooky bumpers. It's a very, very stock car overall. It's the only mods it's got on it are it's got these rather nice aftermarket wheels on it. I rather like them. They look somewhat similar to the original wheels, but they're a bit more funky. You can see it's still got the original 4-bolt hubs, so it hasn't been upgraded to the 5-stud ones. That might be something to do later. Other mods it's got is it's got coilovers on it, and you can't really see in there that it's got coilovers, but it has got them on, and the ride height has been dropped ever so slightly. You can see it's barely even a drop at all. It's still very much a sort of standard style ride height with a little bit lower on it to give it some stance. It's a Type S 180, which is unfortunately means that it doesn't have a turbo. It's a non-turbo model. I did want a Type X 180, which does have the turbo, but unfortunately those are a bit more expensive. The prices on these are going up constantly, and this was one of the more cheaper ones I could find, and obviously it was a Type S, so non-turbo, but it is a manual and it does have all the other features on it. So it's got power steering, electric windows, climate control, AC. It hasn't got a sunroof, which I am actually very pleased about because I hate sunroofs. Oh yeah, it has an aftermarket steering wheel on it there. Originally it would have had a steering wheel with an airbag similar to an S14, but it's got an aftermarket one on there. It's not a very nice steering wheel. I've seen it in some other pictures. Yeah, I'll have to change that. It does, however, have the original 180SX seats in it, which is very nice because those were only done on the kooky models, the 180SX branded seats, so they're pretty rare to find. And yeah, it's got a drift cannon on it, as you'd usually find. Engine-wise, it's very stock. It's got a pod filter on it, HKS pod filter. Other than that, I think it's about stock. And the importing agency tell me that it's been completely repainted not too long ago, which, to be honest, look at the quality of the paintwork. It is very, very shiny, and it's a very, very even finish. There's no real orange peeling that I can see. Obviously, these are only pictures, but it does look like a very good paint job, and it's in black, which is the colour I wanted. So yeah, I've agreed to buy this car, which is why I've had to save all these pictures because the advert's been taken down. So the next step will basically be to wait for it to clear customs in Japan and get loaded onto a ship. The company I'm using to import this car into the UK is JM Imports, and they came recommended to me by a couple of other people I've spoken to who have imported cars into the UK through them, and they came pretty highly recommended, and so far they've been pretty helpful, I have to say. They usually take care of the registration and initial kind of setup of the car in the UK themselves. They receive the car into their workshop, they get it through its first initial UK MOT, or they put it through an IVA if it's under 10 years old. And then they register it for you, they put number plates on it, and then literally you turn up to their workshop and just collect it and drive it away. I am doing that process myself with this car for two main reasons. The first of all is I want to do it because for me that's kind of the experience, if you will, of importing your own car from Japan. The second reason is that JM Imports' workshop is based in Newcastle upon Tyne, and if you're not from the UK, Newcastle is up in the very, very north of England, and it's actually very near Scotland. I live far more towards the south of England, so I'm about 400, maybe more than that, miles away from Newcastle, which would mean a 800-mile round trip to go and get this car, and that would be a bit of a pain. So what they're doing instead is they're shipping it to Southampton, which is on the south coast, and that will mean I only have to drive about 100 miles to go and get it. So yeah, I will collect the car, take it to my house, and then do all the initial work myself and get it registered myself. And also, as a little bonus, it actually costs a bit less money to do it myself, so that's a bit of a bonus. The next thing I will wait to do is hear from JM Imports as to when the car is on the ship, and hopefully then I'll get some documents and maybe some tracking info for it. Alexa, do you like the Nissan 180SX?
I don't have an opinion on that.
You disappoint me. So it's the 5th of June today, and I have some new information regarding the shipping of my car. I've actually had this information for about almost a week and a half now. Reason I'm filming a bit late is because when the information arrived in my email, I was away for a few days, and on the last day I was away I caught a pretty nasty cold, so I've been getting over that for the past few days and finally got around to actually filming this little update. But anyway, here's the information. It is about the actual ship that my car is on. It was shipped out from Japan ages ago. Now you can see here, this is a online marine tracking service called Car from Japan, and the ship even that my car is on is called the Hug. If you're Norwegian, I'm sorry, I'm going to murder the pronunciation of that, but it's the Hug Trident, which, see, this is the shipping schedule for it. And as you can see, it left the docks in Kawasaki. That's where my car was. That's the nearest dock to Kanagawa, which is where my car was sold from. So it left there on the well, it arrived there on the 30th of April, and it must have left there day after, I guess, with my car on board. It's also been, before there it was at Kobe and Osaka on the 28th and 29th. It then went all the way to Larnaca, where it's been on the 29th, and it will be making its way next to Bremerhaven on the 14th of this month. Bremerhaven is in Germany, and then it will be hitting Southampton, which is the port obviously in England where my car is to be delivered. So that'll be the 18th. That's when the car will land. It's in the docks of Lenovo in Italy, so it's in the port. I'm assuming it's in Lenovo. Yeah, so it's in Italy right now, and all it's got to do then is make its way down here, past Spain and Gibraltar and Africa, up round Spain. It will then go past Britain through the English Channel. It will then go up to Bremerhaven, which is, I think, around here. Yep, that's Bremerhaven right there, and then it will make its way back down to Southampton, which is here next to Portsmouth. I actually used to go to university in Portsmouth, so I've been to Southampton a few times, being not that far away, so should be a nice easy drive to get down there and go and collect it. But yeah, so yeah, it will be in Southampton on the 18th, and it will probably then take another few days of customs red tape and everything, because basically when it lands, a man from HMRC, which is our customs in this country, will have to go over it with his pen and his notebook and checkboard and everything, and he will then demand a payment of tax on it, import tax, which I will then have to pay through the import company. And once that tax has been paid, then they issue you with a letter basically saying the tax has been paid on this car, and that allows you to basically register it once it's been through a safety inspection. So that's a pretty important thing, but it'll probably take I don't know, maybe up to a week or so after the car's landed. I don't know. It possibly could have already been sorted out in advance. I don't know. But I'm guessing customs want to have a look around it when it lands. So we'll see about that. And next time I update, this will be when either if I get the port pictures, I'll make another update. If I don't, then I will be making another update once the ship has actually landed. So I will talk to you then. Fuck off. Well, it's the 3rd of July, Tuesday, and my car has finally arrived in the UK. It's at the docks in Southampton right now, waiting for collection. It did take a bit longer to get here than was originally forecast, because it turns out the name of the importing company actually... The importing company actually gave me the name of the wrong ship that the car was on. It was actually on a different one, but arrived slightly later, but whatever. It's in the docks now, and it's ready for collection. So I have arranged to hire a car transporter with my friend Chris on Friday in 3 days' time. 3 days' time? Yeah. And we will be then going down to Southampton in it, picking the car up, bringing it back here, and everything should hopefully go smoothly. Get out of the way! Unfortunately, during my preparations to go and collect the car from Southampton, I forgot to pack one thing, my video camera. So instead I took some pictures on my phone. We arrived in the yard, in the port in Southampton, and were shown around a bunch of different places, and eventually we were confronted with this. This dirty, dishevelled, lost-looking car sitting in the middle of a car park full of other weird import/export vehicles. And looking around it, it seemed to be in pretty good condition, which was nice, just very, very dirty. And luckily, with a jump start from our Hilux, it started up straight away, and it actually ran very nicely, so we stuck it on the trailer and we headed home. So it's the 10th of July, and it's finally home. In all its filthy, imported glory. So now is the point where we start working on it and getting it ready to register. And first order of business is going to be a bloody good wash, as it is absolutely filthy. So we go inside. We got a fairly nice interior. There's a couple of few niggles, like there's a crack in the dashboard there, which is a little bit of a shame, but other than that, it's in pretty good condition. I've got an aftermarket gear knob. We got the steering wheel that I knew was fitted. I'm not a big fan of this, but kind of looks okay. We've got this aftermarket radio head unit, which is a CD player and a mini disc player. So it's a proper Japanese market head unit. I'll probably be taking that out because you know, who uses mini discs these days. A couple of other gadgets I wasn't expecting. It's got a button that folds and unfolds the wing mirrors, which I didn't expect. It only works on the passenger side one, unfortunately. The driver's side one is a bit stuck, but that's kind of cool. The climate control module works. The AC is working fine. The window switch doesn't go up and down by itself. It kind of sticks, so that's going to have to be fixed. But overall, I'm pretty pleased with it. All S13s seem to make the same sound, or SR20s, when they start up, and this one makes the same noise. And it runs really rather nicely. The exhaust isn't too loud, but could perhaps use a little bit of quietening down, but we'll see. See how it goes in road use. But yeah, it runs very nicely. And there we are, SR20. Non-turbo, unfortunately, but other than that, pretty much perfect. Everything in the engine bay is in incredibly good condition. All the hoses and cables and plugs and everything, and everything just really looks in very, very good condition. Looks almost new. The only aftermarket item that I can see here is this HKS pod filter, but that's not a big deal. That's actually kind of cool. I can get a new filter for that, so that'll be nice. Other than that, everything is pretty much, I imagine, how it would have left the factory 21 years ago. even the old charcoal canister and evaporative emission systems are all still in place, which is really great to see. And see my aftermarket coilovers there with their camber plates, and they are adjustable, so they've got a little twiddly thing on the top. I'll leave those alone for now because they've probably been set up already. And yeah, underneath the engine bay it is very, very clean indeed. I've got my JDM service stickers down there. Unfortunately the outside of it is not so clean, so that's the part of it we're going to have to address first. What's that? The water's all white. Is that the dirt, you reckon, or the water in the pipe?
Dunno.
Nah, I think it's the dirt on the car. Really filthy.
See if that writing will come off.
Huh?
See if the writing will come off. If you're going hard.
Nah.
Nah.
We have to try removing that with something else. So I've wetted it. Now, time for smooth. Snow foam is amazing stuff. If you don't have a snow foam cannon, I highly recommend it. The JDM bird poo on the roof is very stubborn.
So the 180 is now washed with the snow foam. Going to go over it with a touch wash now, using some Maguire's NXT, I think it is. Oh, it looks so good.
So at some point the car's going to need like to be clay barred properly, but for now I'm just going to snow foam it again and then touch wash it, rinse it off, and then that'll be it for a while, and we can actually start doing the proper work. Do you reckon your nail polish remover is going to get rid of these shipping letters?
Hopefully.
It's pretty tough stuff. I suppose it would have to be.
Plus it was on there for like, what, a couple of months?
Almost 3 months, yeah.
Yeah.
And there we are, it's clean. I'm not going to bother drying it now because like I said earlier, in the future it's going to need a proper clay bar going over, so at some point I'll wash it again, clay bar it, wax it, wash it again and then dry it, and then it will look perfect. And you can already see the paint has come out lovely. This is one of the reasons I wanted this particular car, is it's had a respray before it left Japan, and it's just a really nice deep gloss black, which looks really good. It's a touch, you know, orange peely in a couple of places perhaps, but overall I think it's a pretty good job. It's very shiny, definitely. I'd like to admit at this point that not drying the 180 off after washing it was a very bad move. The UK at this point had been going through a very severe heat wave, and of course the 180 is black, so when the car was left in the sun to dry, it dried very quickly. The panels got very hot and the water evaporated off within 10 minutes, and that left behind loads of really nasty watermarks, which were so bad that not even some quick detailer would get them off. I had to wait until the sun went down at the end of the day, and then I re-washed the car by hand with my wash mitt and some shampoo, and luckily that did get rid of all the watermarks, and then I dried it properly. So yeah, word of warning, don't let your black car dry by itself in the midday sun in the middle of a heat wave. Really bad move. So we need to do a few bulbs on this car. We need both headlight bulbs because they're horrible, cringy, what are they, like white xenon ones or something? Yeah, they're the horrible white bulb. So both the headlight bulbs need to be done. That side light doesn't work, and two of the brake lights, was it two of the brake lights at the back?
2 of the brake lights.
2 out of the 4 brake lights don't work, so we need 2 of those as well. So I'm going to take the bulbs out, and we're going to then head down to Halford to get some replacements. There we are. There we are. Full on JDM cringe bulbs. And you can see there the dip beam filament is dead, which is why it wasn't working. So 2 of these in just the normal yellow fashion. Go back to stock. So it appears the reason this side light wasn't working is not because the bulb was blown, but it wasn't even plugged in. So yeah, that's not going to help. So plug it in and give it a try. So these letters that they put on with shipping are quite hard to get off, but as you can see, my handy assistant Chris is getting rid of them straight away with, what is this, Chris?
Nail polish remover.
Nail polish remover, so sort of acetone on a microfiber cloth, and there's a few remnants there, but yeah, it comes straight off. So if you import your own car and you've got this sort of chalky lettering on there, nail polish remover. No idea when these wiper blades were last changed, so take them off and change them as well. Lads on tour. Halford's, home of auto shite. Okay, so we just got back from the shop. Got new headlight bulbs, some new taillight bulbs, and all 3 wipers. This video isn't sponsored by Bosch, but Bosch, if you want to send me some money away for showing off your products, then please do. Okay, press the brake. And off. Lovely, all of them working. Lovely. Die.